When it comes to talking about accounting, it's never going to be the most exciting thing that we'll ever talk about on this YouTube channel. However, when it comes to running an Amazon business, it is by far one of the most important things that you need to have locked down. Whether that's just organizing your numbers, being organized with your accounts, or maybe just taking advantage of some of the tax breaks that there are available to you, all of these things could literally be the difference between a successful business and one that absolutely fails. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you some of my top tips for when it comes to accounting for your e-commerce business. But just a quick disclaimer, I am no tax advisor. I'm not qualified in any way, shape or form. If you did need to go and get some proper financial advice, then I will be sharing my accountant that I use for my Amazon business later on in this video. I am just simply sharing my own opinions and my own experiences over the 4 years that I've actually sold on Amazon. But yeah, having said all that, let's jump straight into the video. Make sure you liked and subscribe to the channel, of course, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is whether you should set up a limited company or you should just carry on as a sole trader. Now, for those that didn't know, limited company is something that you actually have to go through Companies House to go and set up. It costs like £12 to do, and this will give you an official company on the actual Companies House register. Alternatively, you can start as a sole trader, which is pretty much self-employed. What I personally recommend, if you are just starting an Amazon business, you are day one and you are deciding what one you should go for, then I highly recommend just starting out as a sole trader. I personally don't think that you should be going through all of the hurdles to create a limited business, create a limited company on Companies House or anything like that, especially if you don't even know if you're going to start selling on Amazon for the long term. You may be just trialing it out. Starting as a sole trader is absolutely fine. And then as you progress and it becomes more tax efficient to move to a limited company, then that's a decision that you can make further down the line. Now, I do hear certain mumblings in the Facebook communities and things like that about it being a difficult process to transfer from a sole trader to a limited company after you've been selling on Amazon for a little while. Just talking from personal experience, this was a complete breeze for me. It was just a 2 to 3 week process. I didn't get banned or suspended at any time during that process, and I was able to continue selling on Amazon. But this is just my own personal experience. Maybe it's got a lot better in the past, but obviously there are people that have struggled. But personally, I just think if you are just starting out, you don't know whether you're going to be selling for the long term, there is no point going through the lengths of starting a limited company from day one. Second thing that I want to talk about, and this is one of the most important things that I would say everyone has to do before they even think about starting a business in general on the side or just starting on Amazon, and that is set up an individual bank account for your Amazon business before you start trading. Doing this will make your life so much easier when it comes to actually doing your accounts at the end of the year, and it will make your accountants, if you decide to use one, so much easier as well. I have friends that have ran their Amazon business at the start through their personal account as well, and what you're simply going to have to do is you're going to have to sit down with your accountant or by yourself, and you are going to go through every single payment on your personal account, and you're going to have to pick which ones are business, which ones are incomes from a business, which ones are going to be expenses, and then which ones are personal. Whereas if you have a business account, there's going to be two types of transaction. You're going to have income and then you're going to have expenses, and it's going to be so much easier just to work out at the end of the year. If you did want a suggestion on some bank accounts that you could go ahead and open up, I highly suggest either using Monzo for business or Starling. These have been two great accounts for me. I've used both of these actually within my Amazon business, and they've worked really well for me. Third thing that I want to talk about is that if you do not want to go ahead and pay for an accountant straight away, which I do recommend, and we'll get to that in a second, make sure at the very least you are using some kind of accounting software. Basically, an accounting software is going to take all of your payments, it's going to connect to your bank account, and it's going to be able to do all of the heavy lifting for you up front, and it's going to leave you very minimal work. Most of the time, all you're going to have to do is upload your receipts and then basically classify whether it's an expense or a piece of income coming into your account. Doing it this way instead of keeping it all on paper or maybe an Excel spreadsheet is going to make your life so much easier. But like I said, I personally suggest going for an accountant as soon as you possibly can. However, if you did want to go this way, I highly suggest signing up to either QuickBooks or Xero. These are the two leading accounting packages for business owners, and they are extremely easy to use as well. Now, like I did just mention, I would highly prefer everybody that is starting an Amazon business to go ahead and get an accountant as soon as they possibly can. I know this is quite a high cost, but trust me, from my own experience, it will save you so much more money in the long run than they actually cost. Just using myself as an example this year, my accountant actually saved me over £2,000 this year alone for an expense that I wasn't claiming, that I could have been claiming over the last 3 or 4 years. Now, this obviously has just saved me their fees alone, simply just through them giving me that advice. And it's just something I really recommend just for anybody, just to take all of that stress away. Obviously, if you are someone that is qualified as a tax advisor, then maybe you could do it yourself, but I'm going to take a rough guess that 99% of the people that are running an Amazon business are not accountants at the same time. As promised at the start of this video, I said I would mention what accountants I actually use for my own personal business. The accountants that I use are Awesome Accountants. These are a specialized Amazon and eBay accountant. And like I said, these guys have been absolutely fantastic. I've used 3 accountants prior to these, and whilst they have all been okay, none of them have really understood an Amazon business inside out. If you did want to go and grab a free call with Awesome Accountants, then I actually do have a referral link below, whereas if you actually go ahead and sign up, you're going to get up to £100 off your first month using them. As I mentioned, I personally recommend these guys, and these guys are the accountants that I use for my Amazon business and all of my other businesses as well. If you did want to go and book a free consultation call with these guys, I'm going to leave a link in the description so you could go ahead and book that. But overall, great service, great people, and yeah, use an accountant if you can afford it from the start. The next thing I want to talk about is making sure you claim for everything as an expense as you possibly can. Now, like I just mentioned, my accountant just saved me £2,000 on an expense that I wasn't even claiming back. Making sure you know what you can class as an expense for your business is so important. It's going to save you so much money in tax payments over the years. So just a couple of things that you can claim money back for. Number one is your petrol and your miles on your car, especially if you're going out to go and buy stock. You can claim these as mileage for your car. I'm going to throw up the exact number on the screen now, what you can get back per mile. Another thing that says if you're getting office equipment for your Amazon business, this is something you can claim back as an expense because you are using that equipment to run your business. Another thing is storage. Let's say you go ahead and buy some storage shelves for your unit. This is an expense. And one more thing as well, which a lot of people don't kind of pay too much attention to, is training. So if you went ahead and got a Amazon coaching call, let's say you bought one with me, not that I'm plugging that or anything, you can actually claim this as an expense as training for your business. So make sure you are claiming as much as you can. You are completely entitled to it. Do not be afraid to ask your accountant or maybe search on the internet about what you can actually claim for. And then the final thing that I want to mention about accounting is to make sure you stay on top of things, guys. Try and set aside a certain amount of time every single week, whether it's just 1 hour, where you go ahead and update your accounts. The last thing that you want to be doing is letting it go until the end of the year when there's 5 days left for the deadline and you are sat in your room or your office and just blasting through your receipts, trying to find lost receipts, trying to work out what you've paid for something. It gets so overwhelming and stressful. Like I said, from experience, I have been there. The second that I did that was in my first year. I didn't have a clue what I needed to do, but from then I've stayed fully on top of my accounts from there, and it just helps so much, not just from a time perspective as well at the end, but from a stress perspective as well. So make sure you are staying on top of your accounts. So I hope you found some value from those quick tips, guys. Like I said, if you did want to go and check out the accountant I use, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Other than that, like this video if you did find some value from it, and I shall catch you in the next one. Take care.